Ouija is one of those movies that has left me pretty puzzled as to why it did so well at the box office. I mean, it's not like the movie was getting rave reviews by any means, and I personally don't remember any big marketing push for the film. But then again, that's just me. Over the past few years, horror movie trailers have just become like a white noise for my ears. Superhero movies too. Maybe. Is it possible that people en masse are actually starting to enjoy bad movies? Could this really be happening? Probably not. But then again, why are you here? So the movie starts off with these two girls playing with the Ouija board. One of them obviously takes the rules very seriously. Okay, now hold on a sec. For all of you who don't know how this thing works, it's basically just a board with the alphabet on it. And the idea is that you communicate to spirits through it by, you put the planchette on the board and then you put your hands on it, but the spirit is supposed to move it to point to the different letters to spell out words. So you know what this thing is trying to say. Oh yeah, and the clear piece in the middle is supposed to be a window to the other side. Apparently you can look into the spirit world through the cheapest plastic known to man. Anyways, we flash forward into the future and Debbie is playing with the Ouija board by herself, which is against the rules, I might add. So her friend Lane comes over to pick her up because I guess they were supposed to go out that night. And Debbie says she doesn't want to go out because...
Remember that game we used to play where you ask questions about the future?
The Ouija board.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, I played it. Just messing around and... I don't know.
And then Lane just leaves like, yeah, okay, makes sense, totally understandable. You've been messing around with a creepy game, and now you just don't want to hang out because... just because. So you're not going to ask her about what happened? I mean, obviously something happened with the game. Aren't you supposed to be her best friend? You used to play the game together as kids. And you're just like, oh yeah, this isn't totally... no cause for concern. And we never find out exactly what happened before with the game. All we know is that she's freaked out enough to throw the board into the fire. So let me get this straight. Something obviously really scary happened, enough to make you want to burn the game, and now you want to be alone at night in the house where it happened. Wouldn't you want to be with your friends after that? Especially someone who you've been friends with since you were kids and would obviously be the person to talk to about it since you used to play it with her. Isn't this the exact person you'd want to be with right now? But nope. Instead, she goes back into the house where a lot of creepy stuff happens, like the door moves slightly and the stove turns on. Better turn off all the lights because that's totally gonna make me feel a lot safer right now. And quite honestly, wouldn't that kind of stuff freak her out a lot more? I mean, to, someone who's never had anything weird happen to them, those things would just be obscure, like, oh, that's weird. But she's anticipating scary stuff to happen. She's already obviously had something that's really freaked her out. So for her, this stuff would be like, holy shit, it's actually happening, not, well, that's weird. You didn't go out for the reason that weird stuff was happening. So, panic mode, yes. So when she gets up to her room, she finds that the board is now on her bed, intact. And when she looks through the planchette, she becomes possessed and kills herself. So after all her friends find out and blah, 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 Lane and Trevor go into Debbie's house and find the Ouija board in her room.
I didn't know she had one.
Really? Because your last interaction with your friend before she died was talking about how she was playing with the game.
Remember that game we used to play where you ask questions about the future?
The Ouija board.
Yeah.
So Lane goes and talks to Debbie's boyfriend.
Before Debbie died, did you notice anything going on with her?
A few days ago, I went to her house to try to talk to her. She didn't even want me to come inside.
She did the same thing with me.
Why are you asking me all this?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because our friend killed herself and we're all still trying to figure out why she did it. Except you, apparently. Lane goes outside and scares away her sister's boyfriend.
What the hell, Lane?
For a minute there, I actually had a little faith in you.
Okay, wait a minute. How old are these people supposed to be? Now, I understand in horror movies, a lot of the times the characters are supposed to be in high school, even though they never actually look like they are. But what's the deal with her sister?
We hang out. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that is that you're a kid and that guy is too old for you.
She's a kid? How much younger is she supposed to be? The characters look pretty much exactly the same age. Actually, the funny part is, the actress playing the younger sister is, in fact, 3 years older than the actress playing Lane. So they all go over to Debbie's house and try to contact her through the Ouija board, and Pete shows up.
Pete.
It's okay. It's just me. I heard you come in through the front. What the hell are you doing, man? I have a spare key for the back. I come in that way all the time.
Wait, so that doesn't really answer anything. What were you doing there in the first place? So after they mess around with the Ouija board, they ask who it is they're communicating with, and the planchette points to the letter D, which they all just assume means Debbie. Then some weird stuff happens, like the stove turns on. I guess this is now the trademark of the ghost for some reason. I guess since they didn't say goodbye after the Ouija session, the ghost is now stuck in the realm of the living, so it starts following everyone and creeping them out. Trevor is riding his bike and suddenly goes down into this area and starts walking his bike. Suddenly, a piece of chalk rolls out in front of him and he kneels down to confirm, yup, it's chalk. And by the way, in case you're wondering, this whole hi friend thing comes from the message that the ghost first spelled out on the Ouija board. But I guess the ghost means business because now it's resorting to straight up vandalism. Honestly, I'd probably be more pissed off about the damage to my desk here. I don't think the message is nearly as creepy as it thinks it is. So they all decide to play the game again to get in contact with Debbie. The only problem is that they were never in contact with Debbie. It was someone named DZ. Lane looks through the planchette and sees a girl with her mouth sewn shut who tells them to run because Mother is coming. So Lane picks up the planchette again instead of running. I mean, how much convincing do you need? The next night, Isabel is at home flossing her teeth when suddenly her mouth is sewn shut by the floss. Interesting at how this happened pretty much instantly. I mean, she's been staring out the mirror the whole time. The camera cuts away, but her glance never does. Anyways, Lane and Sarah find out from their grandmother that they have to burn the little girl's body as well as the Ouija board in order to break the connection. Well, it's a good thing their grandmother knows about all this stuff for some convenient reason. So the girls go back to the house and Sarah is captured by the ghost and is about to get her mouth sewn shut when Lane comes up with a great idea. Start playing the Ouija game and then the ghost will have to play. So the ghost starts possessing her, but luckily the ghost of Debbie shows up. Wow, about time. Could have used you before when all your other friends were being killed. So the girls throw the corpse and the board, and the ghost explodes. And then the movie ends with Lane walking into her bedroom and finding the planchette. Okay, so wait, what? What does that mean? Does that mean none of it worked? Well then, what was all this about? The screaming and whatever this crap is and the exploding. Did that actually mean anything? Or maybe it's the Ouija board itself? Like maybe the board always lives on? Like Jumanji or some shit? Whatever, it doesn't really matter. All I know is that Hasbro is laughing all the way to the bank with this. Seriously, talk about making a ton of money off of something that really cost very little to make in the first place. The movie and the game. The movie only cost $5 million and made over $100 million. And when you think about it, this is really just an amazing commercial for a product that is probably the cheapest thing to make. I mean, how many commercials gross over $100 million? Seriously, just look at it. It's just a board with the alphabet on it and this little plastic piece to point at the letters. It's not even really a game. All right, let's be honest. A round of Monopoly might take forever and be frustrating at times, but at least there's different aspects to the game. It's competitive. This just seems like something a parent came up with to keep their kid occupied for a while. All right, here. You take this thing, you get your friend Billy or Benny or whatever his name is from down the street, and you talk to ghosts with it. You take this piece and the ghost will point at the letters, and this piece in the middle, you can see the ghosts or something. I don't know. Just take it and go in the basement. I don't care. In terms of the movie, and I know this is subjective, but I just didn't find it to be really scary at all. Even the jump scares didn't even startle, and that's what they're supposed to do. The actual backstory as to the history with the board and what was going on with the spirits was pretty interesting, which is probably why they made the new movie based on that. And that's actually doing pretty well right now with critics. It's kind of a rare sight, and the prequel does a lot better with critics than the actual original movie did. I was not expecting that at all, but good for them. It's pretty much a win-win at this point. The original movie made so much money. This one's getting really good reviews. I can only imagine how many people are going to go out this Halloween, buy a Ouija board, thinking that maybe they could talk to ghosts. Not me, though. I'm not f***ing with that shit. Is it possible that people en masse are actually starting to enjoy bad movies? Probably not. Because then they'd be like me. I don't think anybody wants to be like me. Couldn't you see it slowly happening to yourself? Like, what happened? Did you feel your mouth closing? It's one thing if you look away and then look back and, oh shit, it's, you know, it's like that. It's another thing to be staring at the mirror like, ha ha.